Hi, SPC. It's good to see you and be with you again this week. Hope you're all safe and well. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed that people are starting to get restless. This last weekend there were protests to end the lockdown in some states, including my very own home state. COVID-19 cases continue to increase. And as they do, COVID-19 begins, I think, to hit us closer and closer to home as people we know begin to get sick. The economy is also slowing down to a crawl, and there is this strong desire to jumpstart it again because money and jobs are being lost. Just last week, my sister, who's a vice president with Red Robin, had to lay off several employees. Never a fun task. And earlier this week, the price of oil went into the negative. Think about that. The value of what we thought was one of the most robust industries in the world is now in the negative. That's something I never thought I'd see happen. Well, and couple all that with being stuck in our homes now for over a month. And it makes sense that we're starting to feel restless. At first, the whole COVID-19 lockdown was a novel idea. We hoped staying home would flatten the curve and that this whole COVID thing would be quick and painless, that it would be over soon, and that life would get back to normal soon. Like we'd be able to hug our loved ones again soon. Like we'd be able to go out to dinner again soon. Like we'd be able to go back to school again soon. Like we'd be able to go to the grocery store and buy toilet paper and flour again soon. But now, what was a novelty has become a new normal. COVID-19 has carved out this deep, dark valley in our lives. And now we're journeying through it. And our faces, I'm afraid, are growing more and more downcast as the end seems further and further away. What we hoped would once be clear is now completely blurred. Well, as I was thinking about that this week, and this restlessness I've seen this week, I thought of a story in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 24, about two disciples returning home to Emmaus. They were returning from Jerusalem, and truth be told, they really had no other place to go. They had left home in the first place to follow Jesus. And now, in the words of Henry Nouwen, they can hardly imagine that it was only a few years ago when they had met someone who had changed their lives, someone who had brought a new vitality to every part of their existence. Jesus had brought joy and peace to their daily experience. He had made their life into a dance. Now he is dead. The disciples had hoped Jesus would be the one to set them free. But now it appeared all hope is gone. The disciples were, I think, experiencing profound loss on that road to Emmaus. And I think loss is what a lot of people are struggling with right now as the end of COVID-19 becomes blurrier and blurrier and the impact on our lives becomes greater and greater. For us, maybe it's the loss of connection with others. Maybe it's the loss of routine. Maybe it's even the loss to freely go and do what we wish. Maybe it's the loss of things to look forward to. Like, for example, I've been hearing from a lot of parents with schools being closed the rest of the year, how students and parents are mourning the loss of field trips and school dances and graduations. Things that gave our lives meaning and purpose. Things that no amount of online learning can make up for. It shows you how powerful and profound loss can be. Loss has a way of stripping meaning and hope from our lives. Loss, I think, leaves us restless and wondering, what do I do now? How do I live now? And we, like the disciples, begin to walk with slumped shoulders and downcast faces too, because we don't know. And yet in the midst of their despair and loss, that's when Jesus appears alongside the disciples, reminding them of God's larger story of salvation as told by Moses and the prophets, and now revealed in the person near them. It's also revealed later when Jesus breaks bread with his disciples. And the whole time the disciples' despair is slowly turning to joy as they comprehend the risen Christ in their midst. The disciples even say to each other, were not our hearts burning within us while Jesus was talking to us on the road? The burning they felt was Jesus restoring their hope and transforming their loss into, of all things, gratitude. Gratitude. Gratitude because Jesus wasn't gone. He was right there with him. And the same is true for us as we navigate this dark valley of COVID-19. The risen Christ is walking alongside us, reminding us of God's larger story of salvation and redemption that ensures life will continue well beyond COVID-19. The risen Christ is with us at the table, blessing and breaking bread with us. The risen Christ is with us when we're in community with others, even if it's on Zoom, even if it's virtual worship. We should be saying to each other, are not our hearts burning within us? Folks, even in the midst of COVID-19, Jesus is right here transforming our loss into gratitude as well. So if you're restless and you're dealing with loss, please don't let it harden your heart. Instead, I encourage you to open your heart and let the presence of Jesus fill it with gratitude because he is right here with us. So I want to ask you, where are you experiencing the greatest loss in your life right now? And then, as you look back over your COVID-19 journey so far, I want to ask you, where has Jesus revealed himself the most in the midst of your loss? I encourage you to take some time to think about those questions. It's good to see you. Blessings to you this week.